Welcome to The Trade. I'm your host, Theo Goodman, here with Tone Vays. How's it going, Tone?
Going good. Just got back from Mexico this morning. I was at the Anarchapulco event for an entire week. Um, so it's great to be back on the show. I know we had internet problems last week, so my segment got cut off, but I'm ready to make up for it.
Okay, great. Excellent. So I see you've got a Bitcoin chart up. Any new developments in that chart?
In my view, no, but a lot of people probably think that we're back up and away on an uptrend. And this is where I gotta play the technical analysis reality card here. I mean, look, I love Bitcoin. I think it's going to the moon eventually. Everything is great. If you want to buy Bitcoin, anytime is a good time to buy Bitcoin, in my opinion. And fundamentally, we're gonna go up. But technically, there are issues. If you're a straight up technical analyst, you have to just look at the issues. And I highlighted another set of divergence slash confirmation. And in this case, we have confirmation. So here is the new one right here. And I'm highlighting it. So the current price of Bitcoin, we have now fallen back down to about 420 after going up to 450. And we did make a new closing high, but it was lower than the high we had at the end of last year. So I drew this that red downtrend line. And now if you go down to your momentum indicators, to the RSI first, again, what you have is a lower RSI reading that also happens to be overbought. So we once again hit overbought on the RSI when we made that top at 450, and we're had a lower RSI reading along with a lower high. And the MACD is showing you exactly the same thing as well, and that's right below the RSI. So we did break out of the symmetric triangle. I was expecting the prices to go lower from here, but that's okay. Again, this is just temporary. This is just short term. We had a triangle, symmetric, and we could have broken to the upside for about 40, 50 points or to the downside. I was hoping it would be to the downside. It happened to be to the upside. But again, this all stems from this situation of an exponential unwarranted rise in prices back in October, November. And we're still trying to work off this condition. And until this condition is worked off, I'm still looking for either lower prices or neutral prices. My target remains at about 315, but the longer we meander in this area, I guess we can work off the overbought condition. So once again, I guess I might have to raise my bottom target to maybe 360, 370, but I do think we're still overbought, and we now have confirmation with the momentum indicators. So that's my view on Bitcoin. Let's move on to the stock market, and this is the S&P 500. What I'm looking at on the top chart is the futures market. And today was a very interesting day. I know I wasn't on this last time. So the last time I actually shot a video, I believe we had just made this candle. And if my memory serves me correctly, I was contemplating whether this was or wasn't my secondary bottom reversal candle. It is a hammer candle, but it's not a reversal candle until the following day trades above it and closes above it. And that's exactly what happened the following day. So the following day, you actually can attest that this is a reversal, and it was definitely playable to the upside. So what's been happening now? So the latest we have we had this prior candle, and this is a significant resistance. And what we have is a very, very tricky situation, because what I thought happened, this to me looked like a reversal right here. Even the day before, I can even extend it. There were two reversals. There was a reversal the prior 2 days as well. And the next day, that's a bear trap. Uh, I was looking that this was it, and we're gonna head back down a little bit more, and then we reversed. And now we're going up, and all indicators say we're going up. But you know what? Markets have this thing where they make sure the world experiences maximum pain. And this right here may just be a bull trap after a bear trap. All technicals point to up, but my gut says something is off. So my new expectation is we might go up a little bit more. We might go to this very important 2000. We might get into this area, and then from there, we're gonna go down. Now, again, I am pretty bullish on the S&P 500 for the end of the year. So when we go down, we may or may not make a new low, but I don't think there's a bear market coming. I just don't think things are that easy. These last 2 days have been very, very tricky. I actually have not been trading the S&P 500, but those that have, I know this could not have been easy for them. So I suggest you wait and see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, or maybe just wait till Monday. So that's my advice for the S&P 500. Now on the bottom left, I have the S&P cash, just to very briefly go over it. And we talked about this in the past, that we had a higher close here with confirmation and momentum. We had lower closes here with confirmation in momentum. And the beginning of the year, around this point, I was saying I was looking for an early year scare to get everybody bearish and then go to the upside. That happened. And then I also talked about the secondary low, which took place here. And now if you look, we have a lower closing high, and we have divergence with the momentum. So even if we go down, if we go up first into this area and then reverse, we can still maintain our divergence. And that's what's going to be important. We just had one of the best weeks in the S&P 500 in years. And you just have to be a little careful here. We're getting a little overextended. So if we are trading to the upside tomorrow and into Monday, I will look for that 2000. But after that, when it hits the 200-day moving average, I'm going to be a little bit cautious. All right, that's S&P 500. Let's jump to oil, which has actually been leading the S&P 500 a bit. But also something in oil is happening that's pretty important. Unlike the S&P 500, which has just made a new high from early February, late January, oil did not make a new high. Oil actually is still depressed. So that should tell you that the S&P 500 is actually weaker than it looks, because it recently it's been pretty correlated with oil. And today oil just went crazy this afternoon. I was trading oil. I don't really have time to talk about it, but I had a little bit of a frustrating day. I was looking to go long oil. I had just gotten stopped out right before it took off to the upside. But I am short oil overnight. I think it got a little bit out of control. I think it's going to pull back like it usually does in the middle of the night. So I'll definitely make my stop loss back because I didn't lose much, but I'll definitely make it back overnight because that was like a $2 move in a matter of hours. So oil might have bottomed, and if it hasn't bottomed, it will bottom very, very soon. Um, this wasn't the best daily candle bottoming pattern in the futures market. I believe it was better in the futures that actually took place during that time. I believe oil may have a little more downside left, but long-term oil is looking really, really good. On the bottom left, I have the weekly candles for oil showing you a few years of time. And look at this monster divergence. But I will play devil's advocate and say that divergence isn't always easy to trade because we had divergence right here. Very clear long-term divergence. And you know what? If you traded that to the upside with a big position long-term, you lost big. But now it's even more pronounced divergence and the MACD as well. So long-term oil is very, very oversold. So on a weekly chart of oil, I would love to see it go back to the 50-day moving average of 45 before attempting one more shot at 25 or maybe down to 30. So it's hard. It will be. This is way too far in the future, so it's hard to say where. And then oil might actually have some upside. So long-term oil is looking for a real bounce. But on the daily, it's also been tricky. It's been very volatile, and it's trading in this range that need to see how it's going to break out of this range. So if you're trading oil, be very, very careful. And finally, we have gold. Again, the chart in white is the futures. And gold has been on a real tear. So with gold, you also have to be very, very careful. There's this false perception that gold is a hedge against the stock market, and everybody believes it. And I bet most people watching this think that it's true, but that is not true. Gold is not a hedge against the stock market. It has been trading in contrast to the stock market. It's been inversely proportional to the stock market, a negative correlation with the stock market. But gold is really a hedge against government. And the stock market is also a bit of a hedge against government. So I'm not going to get into government bonds. I think I'm going on a little too long, and unfortunately, George isn't on this today. But gold will be a real hedge against government bonds. But let's take a look at gold right now. We had pretty clear support right here at 1200. Once we broke out, we went big. And now what we're looking at, to me at least, is a bit of a symmetric triangle. If we can have a couple of more up days in gold, this 1250 can be another breakout area. And if we break out, how far can we go? So let's take a look at this long-term chart of gold. Again, these are weekly candles, and there's a lot going on here. I'll try and go through it real quick. We did break out of finally broke the 50-day moving average. That's the blue line. Did that about 4 weeks ago. We also broke one high, broke another high, and now we have a third high at 1307. So let's call it 1300 round number. Well, the intra-week high is 1307. The weekly closing is just under 1300. And then you have this 200-day moving average coming down. So I would love to see gold go into this area. And you might have heard me say this before. This would get all the gold promoters riled up. It would also bring gold into this overbought RSI condition that we haven't seen in 3 years. The MACD is also way overbought. Haven't seen that in 3 years. And I will, God, I will probably go huge on this short. If I see gold go into this 1300, 1325 area, that might be my only trade. I don't want to advise other people on what they're going to do, but I'm probably going to go short pretty big because I do not believe that gold has bottomed for the year. I think we're going lower. I think we are going to go into triple digits, and I think we will break the I believe the 1044 was the low closing daily, and I believe we're going to go lower than that. But it would be nice to see it go into that 200-day moving average in reverse. But who knows? After it reverses, perhaps the 50-day moving average can bounce it. But either way, that is a very tradable short trade. On that note, I think I'm done, Theo. Back to you.
Okay. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's very interesting. A lot of eyes on gold right now, as you pointed out. It's holding above 1200 for, some days right now, and a lot of people are getting bullish. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's an interesting play there when it gets to, 1340, 1350 or something like that. Um, yeah, we could definitely see some pullback. Now, if it hits 900 or not, I don't know, but yeah, I definitely see that too. It never tested that triple digit, that, real good low like that. So
Right,
I'd
and
also
and
like to see a triple digit before it really, tries to get out of this bear trend. Yeah.
yeah, and it kind of bounced out of nowhere. There was too many short positions. They were
Yeah.
forced to cover. That's what caused the big run up. It's not a new paradigm. The U.S. dollar isn't crashing. The euro is, but the U.S. dollar isn't, and that's the big
Right.
one. I think it was just a short cover rally. And just one last point, I'm just gonna throw the S&P 500 back in there. Be real careful with the S&P 500. I know I'm a big S&P bull. I love the S&P 500. There's just something not sitting right. It just something doesn't feel right. I'll know more by Monday's close. But right now, just I don't know, something doesn't feel right in the S&P 500. There's obvious divergence to the upside, but I don't know. It's hard to
Okay.
explain. I guess it's just
Well,
experience.
yeah, it's the gut indicator.
Yep.
Tone's gut indicator says caution. Okay, I'm just going to go over Bitcoin and some crypto really quickly. As Tone pointed out, we did go up. Bitcoin did go up, but it did make a lower high. But I'm not really that bearish at this point because I do like the closing candle right here, and it made a kind of like a hammer almost, and it bounced right off the daily Kumo cloud and the Kajisen also as support right there on the wick. So let's see how these next 2 or 3 days turn out, and if we're not able to break through this area here and then break around here, then yeah, I think I might agree with Tone that okay, it really has failed, and we need to have a little bit more down before we go up. But in the next 2 or 3 days, I think it could continue a little bit up right here and then retest that again because I do like how it that was a really strong sell off. Everything got reset, and now we can maybe go up for a few days. But let's see. All right, and I do have a few other charts in the crypto world. We have Litecoin, some people's favorites, but excuse me, this is Bitcoin, the weekly. We'll cover that first, and also, as Tone pointed out, lower high. But what I do like here is that it is consolidating above the weekly Ichimoku cloud over here, and that's good. And this Kajitsun right here. So it's really just, we did have some down moves, but it's staying above this, and that's really bullish actually. And this right here, this daily lag, weekly lag, coming out of the cloud like that and staying above the cloud, that's really good. But it could, if what Tone is talking about happens, we could see some support over here. But yeah, like in the short, if it does manage to break out of this support area, then we could see some new highs.
Yeah, Theo, also on that chart,
Yeah,
you can draw an ascending triangle, which would actually will indicate that it's a bullish, there could be a bullish breakout. If you draw a horizontal line around 3,000, yep,
yeah,
one of those, and a horizontal line around 3,000,
yeah.
and that is an ascending triangle,
It is.
and that is implying that's going to be a massive move to the upside. And if we are breaking over 500 and looks like we're going to close above 500 in USD on the Bitcoin, I might buy into the irrational exuberance once again, and technicals will tell me to go bullish, and I'll go bullish.
Yeah, technical. Yeah, definitely, totally irrational. But in my opinion, that's just how markets are. I don't really care if they're rational or irrational. It's just how it is. Humans are not rational, and neither are the markets. But I do like how this is, has shown a lot of support around here. And like I said, when this lag gets out of the cloud like that and stays above, that's a good sign. That's a good confirmation that it's going to stay above the cloud for a while. So, let's see that triangle. A lot of people have drawn that triangle, are looking at some kind of similar triangle like that, Tone. So let's just keep an eye on that. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not really in any of the channels, so I don't know if a
Oh
lot of
no, I
traders
just mean if you
will.
look around. Well, there's some different kind of triangles that people really like to draw triangles. It's a very popular form, but I think a lot of people are drawing a triangle more like this, something really big like that.
Yeah,
But I agree with I
I'm a
agree
big
with
fan
you.
of end of day closes and not intraday.
Yeah, well, you can do that on the closing candle here.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
big
sure.
fan of closing
It's
prices
still
over
it's
intraday
still
prices.
around it's still around 3,000. It's still
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
it's also a psychological level, 3,000 yuan, very psychological. All right, and Litecoin make a big move when Bitcoin moved lately, and I just did want to point that out. So yeah, you can see here this really crazy candle here, this nice daily one, and then here again, you can see those massive wicks. So yeah, in my opinion, it's in the daily Kumo, and if it busts out, then could challenge that level again. And if it breaks down below this Kajitson, this kind of purple line, then it could go down. So that's just the basic thing. Yeah, it does kind of lag or lead Bitcoin, and it's not as liquid as Bitcoin, so you do get these really crazy candles. But there definitely was some movement here. I mean, if you see these few candles, that's a lot of percentage movement for one day. And of course, everybody and their mom is talking about Ethereum. So let's talk about it. And on the daily, it's making, if this closes as I have the screenshot now, it's making a lower high. So it did go back up, but it made a lower high right here. And that's not really that bullish unless it busts out and makes a new high above this, 017, 01715, something like that, then that's not really the best formation. And it's kind of making one of these M's here, something like this, where you have a lower high part of the M, kind of deformed M. And I would say if that continues, then we can see it do something like this and challenge this cloud area over here. Over at the also another real psychological level, the zero point 0.1 level, and you can see there was a lot of support around there in recent history. So we'll see how that goes. Of course, you could say this is totally irrational or irrational, etc. with Ethereum, but this lower high doesn't look that great, but it still has to close for the day. So let's see how that closes. All right, that's all I have for charts. I want to thank our sponsor for this show, Valturo. Real trading, instant trading, 1 milligram of gold, lowest minimum in the industry. Be your own bank, totally bank independent trading, combining the oldest and the newest, Bitcoin and gold. Definitely check them out. Thanks for watching. This was The Trade. Check out the new website, tatrade.co, and I will talk to you soon.